Hello friends! We're about to kill two birds with one stone. My dad gave me this video camera last Christmas because I wanted to vlog, because every time I get on a YouTube kick I decide that vlogging is the coolest thing ever. Have I used it? No, not really. But neither have I blogged in the past 2 weeks, because when I sit down to vlog, one of those, the one that requires writing, I just cannot focus. I don't want to. And my writing style is just so involved. It takes too long. Too long. So we have 2 weeks of catching up to do, and the inauguration of this beautiful camera, whose name is Professor Plum. First, we're gonna go back to November 7th, which was a Monday, when I donated blood, and that was exciting. Not entirely sure why we should start there. It's not that exciting, just, kind of exciting. But I like to ramble, and it seemed cool and important. Saving lives, yay! Apparently, I'm great at bleeding. I donated as much as I needed to in like 6 minutes. Plus free snacks. Who doesn't like free snacks? I know I do. Free snacks are awesome. Those little like shortbread cookies. Those are just delicious. Speaking of which, those ones that Milano makes with like the chess pieces on them? I think it would be totally awesome to actually play a game of chess with those, and then when you like take your opponent's piece, you get to eat it. But that's just me. After that, we go to Wednesday, the 9th, when I should have been studying for a test, but instead of studying for a test, I decided to watch Mythbusters, because who doesn't love Mythbusters? And at the time it seemed way more exciting than early modern English, which, by the way, I think needs its own name. If you're going to divide the history of English into 4 distinct periods, at least let them have their own names. You have Old English, and Middle English, and Modern English, and then Early Modern English just kind of gets the shaft. Yeah, we can still understand it. You don't really need special training to truly understand it. It's the language Shakespeare used. But come on, if it's going to be its own little period, let it have its own little name, right? No? Okay, I can't think of any good alternatives anyway, so I guess we'll just shelve that idea for now. Instead of studying for this test, I decided to watch Mythbusters and eat Cold Stone because that seemed so much more interesting than dictionaries. That means that I had to study on Thursday morning, which kind of got broken up because I had 2 classes earlier in the morning, and then I had to study frantically and complete a workbook that I thought I'd completed but really hadn't because I'd skipped like 2 exercises. And it was quite stressful, and then I got there and only like 1/5 of the test was actually on the test. 1/5 of the study guide was actually on the test. So the test went a lot better than I thought it would, and then that evening I went over to a friend's house for a sleepover. We have this group of friends, we're kind of tight-knit, and the boys were all getting together to get Skyrim, because that was the night it was released, and they were gonna go play Skyrim at, like midnight. So the girls decided to have their own special night of slumber partying and gossiping and stuff. And actually, the boys were there for the first part of the evening instead of, waiting in line like true hardcore nerds. They decided to come drink hot chocolate with us and eat popcorn and pomegranates and sing-alongs. I have a lot of music student friends. There are a lot of sing-alongs and dancing and inside jokes. After we kicked the boys out and then kicked them out again because some of them snuck in the back door and we actually had to lock them out, we sat down and gossiped about our relationships, but since I don't have one, I just kind of said nothing. But it was really fun. I really enjoyed listening to the other girls' stories because they are so exciting and cute and I'm such a hopeless romantic. And there was Nutella. We stayed up until like 4 a.m. just gossiping and being awesome and laughing really loud, and my friend's parents had to ask us to move and be quiet, and that was fun. I slept in one of the, I think it's called like a papasan or something. It was just kind of awesome, and I slept there and it was magical. And then we woke up and my friend's parents had gotten us bagels, and then one of the boys came over with donuts, and it was very exciting and there was lots of free food. Then I went to help decorate the institute, where there was yet more singing and free food. Who doesn't love free food? We were decorating the institute building for Christmas because school ends at the very beginning of December and they wanted us to enjoy the festiveness. And while I am generally opposed to any form of Christmas celebration before Thanksgiving, I felt like they had a good reason for doing it, and I didn't even mind the singing of Christmas music. I just kind of got wrapped up in the mood. And then we lost to UCLA in football on Saturday. Well, that Saturday. And that was quite sad. And then we lost this past Saturday to U of A, and it was heartbreaking. And I made this sound that was like somewhere between me screaming no and a cougar screaming. It was not quite sure I can ever replicate it. On the 18th, I volunteered at this thing called the Fall Forum. The Latin club and the Latin professors on campus and the ancient Greek professors and teachers of ancient stuff, they host this thing called the Fall Forum where local high school students who study this ancient stuff in their high schools, because apparently their high schools are awesome, they come to campus and they get to learn all this cool stuff. And I was a sheepdog, which means I was herding the students around campus with their Roman standard. It was very exciting. And I got to go to all the cool lectures, which I didn't get to do last year because I was stuck in the atrium manning the information desk. Much preferred this year. Like, I got to see a hoplite demonstration, or actually be part of a hoplite demonstration, because apparently those phalanxes were really just like ancient warfare mosh pits where it was just people shoving each other in a uniform line until one of the lines broke. Yeah. And I got to see a demonstration of a sacrifice of an ox, which was really cool. They did it Greek style because Roman style would have taken all day, and some girl sneezed during the demonstration, and that would have set the Romans back hours. And then we went to a lecture where we talked about marble. That was cooler than I thought it would be. Black marble. That's a thing, apparently. After that, I did absolutely nothing this weekend, except sleep and watch the heartbreaking football game and eat food and stuff. And on Sunday night, I had to write a paper because it was due on Monday and it had to be 6 pages, and it was a research paper requiring 3 sources. So I took cat naps all night Sunday night, just like in between stuff, and when I wasn't napping, I was on Facebook and pretending to look up sources. And I never actually hit a REM cycle, so by the time Monday afternoon rolled around, I just kind of passed out. I managed to finish my paper though I didn't actually start writing the outline until 4:30, and I didn't actually start writing the paper until 5. Not my most brilliant move. But I finished it by 10. 5 hours of almost kind of not really steady writing. And actually my internet cut out before I was able to find my 3rd source, so I had to improvise. Luckily I have a bunch of literature anthologies sitting around, and I was able to go to one that explained like literary theory, which is cool because I was writing this paper rather mockingly over a short story that I think is a criticism of literary criticism, and I really just don't think most people get the point of analyzing literature. They're just like, let's argue about it, when I really think it should have a purpose. When you analyze literature, you should find some meaning that should be applicable to your life. It shouldn't just be for the sake of coming up with crazy interpretations of stuff that probably were never meant to be interpreted that way. So anyway, I magically finished this paper. Unfortunately, this left me no time to study for my Latin quiz. Pretty sure I did not do fantastic on that, but I think I got somewhere like a 75 solid knowledge, plus all the stuff I guessed on, some of which I may have gotten right. And we get to drop one test. Pretty sure it'll be this one. I take procrastination to a whole new level. And then today, my last class got cancelled. And tomorrow, I only have 1 class, and then we have Thanksgiving break, and it's gonna be glorious, and hopefully I'll actually blog about stuff from now on. And I'm sorry this was so rambly. I have trouble focusing when I talk, as some of you may have noticed. I think I covered everything though, and I'll see you around.